This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
And back again. So
I know why
we
you're
have
laughing.
way too
I
much
know
fun
why
on
you're
this show.
laughing,
We hope
Frank.
that you enjoy it and kind of get into it. We're pretty silly here.
This
At least
is
I
a
am.
serious story about merchandising here, Frank,
Yeah.
and how we built the consumer class in America. And yet, where do you go with this story? Right to the outhouse.
Yeah, we're talking about catalogs, folks. You know, the Sears catalog, the Montgomery Ward catalog, and there were probably others, but you know, the Sears catalog actually really made Sears Roebuck and Company.
Yeah.
But the thing is after you flipped through it and you ordered everything, you threw it over in the outhouse.
You wore it, you wore down the pages so they were real soft. So, yeah.
Anyway.
But those of us, long before Charmin, those of us of a certain age, we grew up with outhouses. I mean, the house I grew up in had indoor plumbing, but my grandparents had an outhouse, and the catalog in the outhouse, yep, there it was.
Yeah. So, I mean, those catalogs, though, those Sears catalogs were about that thick.
Yeah.
I mean, and, it was nice, thin, slicky
So
paper.
they would last, like as long as a 12-pack of Charmin, something like that.
So, we're writing commercials here now, too. Montgomery Ward's had one, but there were other catalogs, too. But, of course, the most famous was Sears.
Well, I think it's so interesting, Frank, and I've thought about this, coming full circle in a lot of things. But people talk about, nobody goes shopping anymore. They buy everything online. It's the same principle.
It was.
It's the same principle. You sit there in your parlor or, there at your kitchen table and you look through the catalog and figure out what you need, and it comes to your door.
You could buy a house. You could buy a house in the Sears catalog. It would come in packets and you...
And I'll bet you a bunch of, there's nobody in Kansas that hasn't seen one of those houses. They're still standing. They were great kits, and you may not realize it, but there are a lot of them around. A lot of them around. I remember one in Osawatomie, a big Victorian in Osawatomie that was ordered out of the catalog. Yeah, gorgeous home. You could get them from, dollhouse this big to a mansion and everything in between. So yes, there was value in the catalog before it went out back.
Oh my, okay, I'm gonna go take a nap now.
Before eBay and Amazon, there was the catalog. And for rural America in the 19th and early 20th centuries, it was a godsend. Retail establishments were far away from most of rural America. Catalogs brought everything they needed to the comfort of their parlors. They could order anything from a house to a mousetrap. Sears Roebuck and Montgomery Ward were among those to capitalize on the desires and pocketbooks of new consumer-driven America. What kinds of items could be found on those pages? Well, literally everything to set up housekeeping or business, or to dress fashionably, drive, or live comfortably. In 1902, the United States Post Office instituted rural free delivery. That meant those packages ordered from catalogs might arrive at the front porch. True to human nature, as people leafed through the catalogs, they saw what was available, what the latest styles were, and even though they had not realized they needed those things, they sure wanted them. Even barns and houses could be ordered by catalog. Scattered throughout Kansas are numerous kit homes purchased from the catalog. Lumber, windows, trim, and fixtures were pre-cut and shipped by rail and then delivered by wagons to building sites. For areas where timber was scarce, the homes were very popular. When you hear people complain about folks shopping online, perhaps they're simply coming full circle to the way things would have been done more than a century ago. Brought to you in part by the 64th Annual Eskridge Labor Day Rodeo, September 3rd and 4th. Fort Wallace stood on the frontier in the midst of the Plains Indians Wars on a major stage route and rail line. Beside the 1865 stagecoach station, a modern museum with thousands of artifacts tell that story, like the fossil of a 40-foot plesiosaur is suspended from the ceiling. Located on Highway 40 midway between Hayes and Colorado Springs, the Fort Wallace Museum is as welcome a sight today as the fort itself in the 1860s. Discover the fightingest fort in the West.